Playing your weapon normally is fun and all. You're able to do good damage and get decent kill times. But have you ever wanted to take your weapon to the next level? Well, do I have the thing for you. Celestial Anchor has been a problem in this game since they improved the attacks off of its activations, and every weapon is able to use and abuse this basic katakuri to such insane effects. Let's start off with the weapons that don't actually benefit too much from the anchor. The Clawblade doesn't do too much with its attacks. It isn't strictly better than the glider or box attacks, but can still have its uses. Turning an already air mobile weapon into an even more ground mobile weapon is never a bad thing, and being able to gain gauge outside of the box attack is nice to have some comfort and keep a higher claw stamina gauge. It also pairs well with the glider attack to be able to target specific parts you need, such as tails or heads. The attack itself is a fast horizontal slash that gives a good amount of gauge, and it repositions you nicely for the faster kimono, or ones that have harder to hit weak points. The box tends to be your go-to combo starter, but there's definitely a world where the anchor can be more useful while you wait for a chance to be able to start that combo loop. Unfortunately, the katana doesn't really gain much outside of a nice little quick combo that builds up a good amount of gauge, which arguably is good in and of itself, but I think the key thing they'll be able to abuse is the fact katakuri coordination will help boost their attack's damage and allow them to see some good numbers on this combo. Honestly, I'm sorry, but I just don't know how good this move is. The hitbox of the lunge can be pretty iffy and will send you flying completely through the kimono sometimes, so if you're going to be using it, just do so at your own risk. But like many of the other weapons, it always helps to have more mobility to chase, and katana definitely gets the best chase out of using the anchor, and filling up the gauge faster is always nice. But outside of its ability to fill the gauge faster, it doesn't really improve on the katana's unbound DPS rotation. Finally, the bladed wagasa doesn't get too much from the anchor either. The main reason I personally like it is it gets a lot of good stamina recovery, being able to stay on top of the kimono while keeping in the fight and always having enough stamina to parry. The actual attack outside of the dash is the basic thrust forward. While not immediately impressive, it still can make use of the ability to reposition and being able to do air combos for longer. Even if it's not optimal, it makes for building up the parry gauge faster if the monster just isn't attacking you, or happens to be trapped or downed, making it so you aren't able to parry a move. The Nadachi gets insane when you start to incorporate the anchor to its heavy charge playstyle, turning what is supposed to be a very slow and mobile weapon that waits for key openings, to a very fast, outright aggressive weapon that still is able to keep its wait for key opening playstyle, with some pretty fun animation cancels to keep up with the speed of kimono. I'm sure most knew this, but you're able to charge while flying through the air with the Celestial Anchor. Then, the Nadachi is able to get to near one full charge off of one anchor attack, which means you can either dash in and get close to one charge that a single attack puts you at full charge, allowing you to immediately animation cancel into your big swing. Or, if the kimono is winding up a big attack, use the dash to get around them, and even if the dash doesn't hit, you will then be at a full gauge for a big swing anyway. You're also able to regain stamina while dashing around even while charging, which takes the entire stamina management system out of the equation. The bow's combo loop doesn't change too much, but the rate it can be executed gets faster, as well as gives you a nice mobility tool to make sure you're not going to get hit while detonating your pincushion of a kimono. It keeps the same moves as using the glider to pump out max DPS, but you don't have to worry about getting hit on the glider or making sure you're facing the correct way to keep the loop going. It also happens to just be faster and more consistent in my opinion. Being able to do the volley, then quickly cancel after getting your 15 to 20 arrows stuck, into a lesser charge detonation shot that then you're able to immediately go back into a volley, while gaining stamina throughout all of this, definitely makes detonating the pins feel like a much cleaner loop. The cannon gets a good tool to be able to build up its overheat gauge fast. After 2 dash attacks, you're able to get the perfect mortar to be able to go directly into a laser. While it doesn't do too much outside of that, it's still nice to be able to dash around quickly with the weapon and build up that gauge faster in most hunts where you're having to completely chase down a very quick monster. And this gives you a nice substitution rather than having to use all of your stamina to do a short roll in order to get out of the way of some attacks, while being able to keep up the pressure as all laser mains want to do. I've already gone over how insane the Celestial Anchor is for the Katakuri staff, but I'll gladly cover it again. Being able to quickly stack the staff's mutation level to get out the Juggernaut blade in less than half the time of most other stacking methods is just busted. And when you start to combo it with the ability to ghost stack to use the horizontal blade slash out of the Anchor's dash, without using your main gauge for a quick beefy hit, and the ability to topple, it's no wonder the staff consistently has kill times of sub 40 seconds. Being the hardest hitting weapon in the game really does have its perks when you're blessed with a game-breaking katakuri like the Celestial Anchor. And finally, the Maul, which surprised me a ton, gets really goofy with how it can combo out of a Celestial Anchor. The Celestial Dash not only immediately puts you into your aerial combo, but then you can hold your special attack button right after the first aerial extension to go immediately into your fully extended spinning hit, which then ends with a massive ground combo slam. I really was a big fan of the ground Maul playstyle and damage, but being able to pull this combo off and still get the damage from the ground slam is just fantastic. The staff and Maul have a really close battle for what I think gets the most out of a Celestial Anchor, and definitely are the two weapons I think strictly should always have this katakuri in their loadout. And there you go, the full list of how each weapon is able to abuse the changes to the Celestial Anchor. I hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something about your favorite weapon or something about a weapon you've been looking to try. I still am learning some of the weapons myself, so it's entirely possible I missed some key move, specifically with the katana and cannon, but that's just what I was able to test and theory craft within the time I have on them. If you enjoyed the video, it would help me out a lot if you liked and shared. If you haven't already, subscribing also always helps me out and lets me know I'm doing stuff that intrigues or helps other hunters. And if I did happen to miss something or you learned something new, leave a comment. I've so far read every single comment, and have tried to respond to each one, which surprisingly, even with the low amount I get comparatively, it's kinda hard to do. But in the end, I wish you luck in your future hunts, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take it easy.